Welcome to the Holy Yogi, where we help you find the guru inside of you. Hello, beautiful. Hello, handsome. How you doing today? It's Ilan Bomani, and now it's Ask Holy Yogi. It gives you the opportunity to please feel free to DM me at Instagram any questions that you have in regards to love, in regards to your relationships with your family, friends, and loved ones, and the boss from hell, in regards to life situations and circumstances, in regards to your health issues, and more importantly, to your spiritual issues. Because we're just what? Spiritual beings just having human experiences. And I'll be happy to answer those questions. Well, today we got a question in from one of our wonderful subscribers here at YouTube. And she asked the question, how do I flip the Grinch that stole my heart? And so in a nutshell, what I'm going to do is share some information with her in regards to her relationship. Number one, Diva, one of the key things that I want you to fully understand is that no, let's not get into the business of trying to change anyone. We cannot flip the script as far as the people that we love in our life. That's a major no-no. Red flags going up. Trust me, when I was in my body, when I was being a human being, trust me, I made that drastic change. And no one really changes anybody. There's no way that we can do that, number one. Number two, I want to share with you. But with that said, the beautiful thing that we can do is change how we feel about the relationship. And that's where the word change and karmic experience can happen today. So today we're going to talk about how to have a beautiful relationship. Okay? Number one. And number two, it's real simple. The ability to accept people just the way that they are. Okay? So one of the key things that I want you to do is I want you to focus all your energies, because I got my spiritual hat on today, from my ancient African ancestors. That's what they would do. We'd go to the wise one and he'd put on that hat, and we would call on the essence of the ancestors to come down and guide us and give out the best advice. But one of the key things, what I'm very key on, is that this information is not to tell you what to do. You see, I'm in the business of helping you tap the guru inside of you, because you already know the answer to your question. I'm just giving you confirmation to help bring it out so you make the final decision on what you want to do. And I'll just remind you of the spiritual nature of whom what you are in order to be able to make those decisions. Okay? So that's fair, right? Because the reality of the situation is I am not a fan of people relying on other people to give them directions. No, I mess with my karma when I indulge upon your karma to tell you what to do. I'm not here to do that. What I am here to do is provide you with information. You take this wonderful information, you pray, you meditate on it, and even fast on this information, and then to thine own self be true. To be honest with you, you already know the answer. I'm just here to remind you of how yogi you are, and so that you can tap that within inside of you. So with that said, this is what I want you to fully understand, okay? I want you to fully understand this. One of the key things that you mentioned was that you and your mate are complete opposites. You know, you're spiritual, you know, you love the birds, bees, flowers, and trees. And he basically criticizes, and he is kind of indifferent to your way. He laughs at your quote-unquote old-fashioned way of life and living, okay? That's a major red flag. Because the one thing that you said is that opposites attract. Now that, we're about the same age, okay? You know, you see about 56 years of age. You know, that's old school mentality we all grew up with. Remember, opposites attract. Opposites attract. Opposites attract. Hey, I fell for it too. And we start to believe it. And like the old saying goes, the more you hear a lie or an untruth over and over again, you expect it to be true. And that's not it at all. The reality of the situation, like attracts like. Now, you said that he's ready to get married, but you're not, because to be quite honest with you, your spirit is telling you maybe he is not the one. We really don't have a love connection, okay? Because you're not connecting. Like opposites go in complete, what? Different directions. And that's why you're reserved, especially if you've been in that relationship for 6 years, okay? So, but the key thing I want you to realize, and this is what's really important, I want you to sit down, and this is what we kind of are talking about in our wonderful, series that we're having right now, How to Find Your Soulmate, Secrets 1 to 7. That's going on right now, so everybody like, comment, and subscribe to that. And one of the good things that what even I did for myself, get a piece of paper, and I want you to write down all the things that you like and love about your mate, okay? On one side, all the pros. And on the other side, write down all the cons. Now, I want you to go in with the spiritual context, okay? Write down all the cons. And if the pros outweigh the cons, and you feel as though, just right now, look at him right now and say, can I accept him as he is? Is it a work in progress? Is it doable? Is he showing some of the signs? This is really important. Some of the signs of the divine divinity within inside of him. Is he loving? Is he compassionate? Is he giving? Is he trustworthy? Is he honest? Is he truth? Is he justice? Is he righteous? Is he order? Is he balanced? Is he financially secure? Is he emotionally secure? Think about it. When you're financially secure, you are emotionally secure, okay? And can you deal with his sand scars, which means can you deal with his habits, like leaving the toothpaste, cap off of the toothpaste, can you really handle it? And if you can say yes to that, when all is said and done, that the pros outweigh the cons, then, you probably met your match. But also, the other key factor is if he's not even meeting, a tenth, of what, you feel as though someone that you can live with or you're divinely ordained to be with for the rest of your life, quite frankly, and if your spirit, that's the key thing. What do you feel within your heart and very core of your soul? You said, that he stole your heart. And you got to analyze that, okay, because it's about metaphysics. Words are very powerful. Stole your heart. Is it really like that? You want somebody to, love your heart. You want somebody to, bring you peace and bring you joy and bring you confidence, okay? Now, if that is said and done, the key thing about it is what you really need to do. If he is the man of your dreams, you need to, number one, accept him as he is. Very important. Number two, you need to speak only good about him at all times. Don't talk to him about him negatively to anybody or any individual in your life and things of that nature. Only speak into good, because if you do that, what you're feeding the negative behavior, and you're feeding that negative, like he's impatient, he's unkind, he's not romantic, he's not giving, etc. You're feeding that energy, vibrational frequency into him, and guess what? He's going to continue not to be romantic, not to be emotionally available, to be condescending to you and to make you feel insecure. And if you're feeling any of those fearful based type of emotions, that is draining you, and that's also draining the relationship, okay? And that's why you're at stalemate right now as far as, contemplating on whether or not you want to marry him, okay? So you really want to think about that. And last but not least, number 3, okay, is now what you want to do, just focus all your energies on speaking into existence his divine self, who he really is, because we all agree that the natural essence of the man and the woman is what? A loving, compassionate, giving, punctual, on time, type of individual, selfless, type of individual, mercy, grace type of individual. Like if give an example, if like he's always late, for that date or whatever the case may be, hey, sweetie, even when he's late, thanks for being on time. I really appreciate you being considerate of my feelings and emotions. And if you say it in a compassionate, loving way, he's going to sit back and sit here and think about it. Actually, I wasn't on time. Actually, I was kind of inconsiderate. But he'll be gracious enough to start thinking how positive that you're being, how forthright that you're being, and it will rub off on him and rub off on you too. You only want to focus on speaking into existence and give him favor on what you want him to be, and see him as that. As you see him as that vibrational frequency will catch on to him. He will see himself of that, and change will manifest. The beautiful thing about it is we are so phenomenally powerful that just by our mere instance, our mere presence, without saying a word, a person can shift and then can change their whole energy. But what? If you want love, what do you have to do? You got to give love. You got to stay in the light and love. And more importantly, the thing about love is you can't expect unconditional love. You can't expect anything in return. If you're expecting, accolades, if you're expecting praise, if you're expecting acknowledgement, if you're expecting, appreciation, if you're expecting all of those A's, like 4 A's, if you're expecting all of those, then you're missing the mark. But what you should be focused on doing is constantly feeding the praises of good into that person's life on a consistent basis. Never, ever, 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 ever say anything negative about that person, even if it is showing up that way. Because the only way you can do that is what? Transform him. The best way to transform him, if he comes at you negative, oh, why are you so spiritual? Oh, why are you into that? Thank you for honoring me and respecting me for my beliefs and my philosophies, as I do the same for you. I really appreciate that. You see, you're coming off completely different. You're coming off really nice. And guess what? He can't do nothing but respect that and give you what? Niceness back in return. You see, what we tend to do is we tend to, do 3 things. We're either going to reflect, meaning that if he comes to you negatively, you're going to come back negative to them. Why shouldn't I like, my spiritual stuff? That's what's your problem is you're not spiritual enough. So now, y'all both are down in the dumps. It's a battle, it's a field, and now you've gone down to his vibrational frequency, which is not what you want, right? Or then you absorb it. You don't say anything. You take all that energy in. And what does that do? That brings down your vibrational frequency. You're not feeling good. And that causes an ill relationship because we have ill feelings. Okay? Think about that. Okay? But the third one, that's where the power begins. When you can instantaneously choose that when they come at you negatively, immediately circumvent that and come at them positively. The beautiful thing about it is, it's not about them, but when you come at them positively, what? That positive, loving vibrational frequency, what? Comes back to you. And honey child, it's going to heal the relationship with you, which is the most important relationship in your life. And then everybody gets healed, okay? So that's what you really want to focus on doing. So those are the choices that you have. Like I tell you before, I'm not here. That's where people make the greatest mistake, is finding their answers in someone else. No. The key thing about it is I'm here to give you options and choices. And then now, with all the beautiful information that I just not gave you, you absorb all that information and now be true to thine own self. Be still and know that I am. Meditate on what I just now shared with you. Get quiet and go within. And as you go within, remember, meditation is God's answer back to you. And so the answer will come to you to determine whether or not he is your soulmate or not. Now I'm going to leave you with this last little tip, last little story, because stories really tell the truth about a lot of things. You find so many messages. And let's see, it's some celebrity couple. I think they're with Empire. They're the husband and wife team that are stars on Empire. And what they did was they discussed how they basically met each other. And this story is very powerful because they were both individually and separately in a love relationship with some other people. Ironically, both of them, 5 years he was in a love relationship with a woman that, he kind of knew that the relationship was 5 years and that no, he was not going to marry her. But you always try to make something out of nothing. He had dreams and aspirations. He's in his 30s. He's supposed to be married by the time he was 28. You know how that is. We have these great expectations of what we are supposed to do with our lives. And so his actress partner, she was also in a 5-year relationship, and she was completely committed, believer, both of them believer in God and things of that nature, and they really wanted to do the right thing as far as their relationships were concerned, but ironically, as he was preparing for this new transition, he had found his purpose in life, etc., and he started to really searching, and he knew that it just wasn't right. It didn't feel right inside to marry that particular individual or person. So he decided, that he was going to cut the relationship. And make a long story short, as he was, meditating and praying to God to give him his answer on what he was supposed to do, because, God's, plan is always better than our plan. Whatever we decide to do, because, that omnipotent force knows the deal. And so can transcend anything. So in a nutshell, God spoke to him in a dream, and he woke up and God told him that his co-star actress was going to be his wife. And he's like, ooh, well, God, okay, that's cool. But does she know that? And more importantly, he wanted to make sure it wasn't coming from him. So he basically, did a deal with God, and he said, okay, God, if that is the case, I'm not going to do anything. I'm not going to put my will upon this situation. I want you to basically tell this diva that she is my wife, and then she is going to come tell me. This is what he wanted to know, to make sure that it's real, seal the deal, because he really wanted to be in a soulmate, divine relationship, and so he didn't interfere. He didn't say anything. He didn't do anything. He just went about the business of being himself. Now, in the meantime, and also he knew that she was in a relationship and he wasn't going to divulge in that. And that's really important. We are never going to enforce our will upon anybody, no matter what is going on. We let God handle the details. So in a nutshell, she basically was going about her business and etc. And he had did a prayer at one particular reading that they were doing, and it sparked inside of her. And she was shocked because she didn't know that he had a spiritual inclination, and that, she started to look at him differently and started to see there's something deeper and more profound about him as a person, because he was very handsome on the outside. That was the easy part. But like most women, we're looking for something deep. We're looking for someone that has heart, that has a soul inside of them, And so, make a long story short, they started, talking and things of that nature. But she was faithful. She had made a commitment. And even though she knew she liked the other guy, she wanted to stay committed to the other gentleman, because she really felt she was obligated to do that, because her thing was blinders was on, and that this was the man that she was going to marry, because she really felt as though that was her, divine responsibility. But God spoke to her. And ironically, when they talked later on, at the same time, she woke up at that midnight. And it was right about the same time, and she got the message that she was supposed to be in a relationship with her co-star. So you got to understand that God is working around in the details. And that's what I really want you to ask yourself. Is God at the center of your relationship between your mate and yourself? And if that is, if it's God, then it's all good. Because in the word good, if you would look at the word good, is what? God. So that's the irony of it, But if not, then maybe it's something that you really need to pray, meditate on. And you know what the best part about it is, when you get your answers? Like I said, you were created in the likeness and image of God. Let God speak to you in the very core and essence of you, and your answers will come to you. So with that said, thank you so much. Ask Holy Yogi for all your questions and answered. If this resonates with you, do me a favor, ladies and gentlemen. Send light and love on this wonderful, beautiful union, because that's all we want. We want the best outcome for everybody. And this is what you do. The final analysis is always, let divine will be done. I'm going to say it again because I really want you to get that. After you put your prayers on the situation and circumstances, the final analysis, the final determinator is let divine will be done. Because with God's at the helm of it and God's making the final decision, then it's all good and it's the right choice. It can't get any better than that. So with that said, thanks so much for coming to the Holy Yogi, Ask Holy Yogi. It was a beautiful conversation. I'm wishing you all love, peace, and light. And I'll see you on the other side. Bye-bye for now.